Good morning, Kingdom Kids. Welcome to week 8 of online church. This is Eric, and of course, I am here with none other than Katie Kitty.
Hey.
Katie, what's up? Little fist pound and explosion there. Katie, great to see you. How you doing this week?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm living the dream. Thank you. Hey, Katie, obviously last week was Mother's Day. How'd that go for you? What happened?
It went pretty well. I made my mom breakfast in bed, and I made her a homemade card.
Very nice. Very nice. And mom was blessed, no doubt, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, our kids, Noah and Caleb and Tristan and Courtney, they kind of have a tradition on Mother's Day. We always end up doing some sort of a garden theme or planting theme, and this year was no different. We got her some of her favorite flowers, and then we kind of always end up doing a little dinner at night and try to give her some rest and relaxation. So, well, I'm glad that went well for you, Katie. It went well for us, and kids, we hope it went well for you and your mom. And this is a friendly reminder that you can celebrate your parents any day. You don't have to wait for a special holiday. You can give them rest and relaxation and love and dishes and just whatever. It's how we can show love to one another. So, hey, Katie, we had a great week last week. We had our friend Gretchen read a book to us called A Tale of Three Kings, and it was A Tale of Three Trees. And great book, and it had some powerful things. We got to hear from our friend Liz as well. And, we shared that as we get to be amazing. Do you remember there was a verse that we talked about that?
Yeah, Psalm 139.
Right. Do you remember what that says?
No.
Well, it's along the lines that that God formed us in our mother's womb. Do you remember? And he said, before you were even formed, I knew you, And what we discussed last week was just this idea that we get to be amazing. We get to ask the Lord and trust the Lord and connect with Him and say, hey, what is it that you've created me for? And, it's kind of that dream like, hey, when I grow up, I want to... Katie, have you thought about that when you grow up, maybe what you want to do?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I want to be a teacher.
Ooh, a teacher. What would you like to teach, or what age group are you interested in?
I'd love to teach this age group.
So like the Kingdom Kids age group?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That is a great age to teach. It's a great age to be at. I love teaching this age group because I get to kind of be a kid, and I get in trouble for being a kid all the time, but that's just part of life. But Katie, that is awesome and I want to encourage you to do that. You're young enough that maybe you haven't spent time with us, and kids, if you talk to your mom and dad, you can ask them. At times there's things that stand in the way, like try to block us from being what we're supposed to be, Have you ever experienced that, or do you have thoughts on maybe what might stand in the way, Katie?
Yeah. Well, I feel like there's something, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, you and I had talked about that. Actually, it was at a different day on a different talk, and you shared with me that you deal a little bit with insecurity. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and see, I was picking that up even right here on your answer. You were kind of indecisive and like you wanted to answer, but you weren't sure, and then you started to second guess. And do you do that a lot in life?
I do.
Yeah. And let me ask you this. Do you find maybe sometimes you compare yourself to other people and how they look, how they talk, how they act?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that too. I think that's sometimes a very natural thing. And Katie, what I want to do is I actually have a book that we're going to share with you. Again, it's another video. This one's, we have a gentleman who's going to be telling us a story. And the name of the book is called I Wish I Was a Butterfly. And let's go ahead and listen to that.
For most of the crickets in Swamp Swallow Pond, sunrise was a happy time. They came out of their tunnel-dark homes and celebrated the light of day. with a fiddler's song. But the littlest cricket was sad. "I want to stay here," he told his mother. "In the dark?" she asked. "What will you do in the dark?" "You must come outside to make music." "Then I won't make music," said the littlest cricket defiantly. "I don't have anything to sing about anyway." "You don't want to come outside? You don't want to make music? The next thing you know," his mother scolded, "you won't want to be a cricket." The littlest cricket sighed. Had his mother guessed his secret? "I wish I were a butterfly," he said softly, but his mother didn't hear. "Outside with you this minute," she said. The littlest cricket knew better than to argue. Out into the bright daylight he went, but he did not make any music. The sound of the other crickets fiddling was more than he could bear. "Why are they so happy being crickets?" he asked out loud. "Perhaps they don't know what I know." "And what is it that you know?" asked a passing glowworm. The littlest cricket said, "I know that I am ugly. All crickets are ugly." "Who told you such a thing?" the glowworm asked. "The frog who lives at the edge of the pond. He told me that I am the ugliest creature he ever saw." "Well," said the glowworm, inspecting the littlest cricket with care, "you are not the handsomest thing in the world, but you are far from the ugliest. Look at me. I'm no beauty myself." "But you will change into a lightning bug," the littlest cricket said, "while I will always be a cricket, an ugly, ugly cricket. I wish I were a butterfly." "There's no use wishing for what can't be," said the glowworm, going on his way. "Being a cricket seems fine enough to me." "That's easy for him to say," said the littlest cricket. "He will be a lightning bug one day, and the frog who lives at the edge of the pond will never find him ugly." "What do you care what the frog who lives at the edge of the pond has to say?" a ladybug asked from atop a daisy. "If he told me I was ugly, I wouldn't care one bit." "But who would ever say you are ugly?" asked the littlest cricket. "Everyone can see how lovely you are. I am the color of a lump of dirt, but you are the color of laughter, if such a thing could be." This amused the ladybug. "Perhaps you are right," she said. "But then you must learn to be content with what you are, and not mind what a silly old frog tells you." "That is easy for you to say," said the littlest cricket, as the ladybug flew away. "Oh, I wish I were a butterfly." He jumped onto a lily pad and drifted across the pond. "I'll talk to the old one," he thought. "She'll help me." But seeing his reflection in the water, the littlest cricket started to cry. "Why am I so ugly?" he asked his mirrored self. "Why can't I be a dragonfly like me?" The cricket looked up to see a dragonfly darting overhead. "I couldn't help but hear your moaning and groaning," said the dragonfly. "It isn't right to be envious of others, you know. It's true that I am a magnificent creature, but so are you in your own way, I am sure." Said the littlest cricket. "You fly around with your whispery wings and your body all covered with jewels and tell me that I am magnificent? Please, Mr. Dragonfly, go away. You don't understand. You can't understand." "I wish I were a butterfly." "Well, you're not a butterfly and never shall be," the dragonfly said firmly. "And wishing is a waste of time." The littlest cricket blinked, and the dragonfly was gone. "It's easy to be happy," he thought, "when you are a glistening dragonfly. It's easy to be happy if you are anything but an ugly cricket like me." the middle of her web, on the other side of Swamp Swallow Pond, the Old One was waiting. "I am good at waiting," she had told the cricket once. That is a spider's life, spinning and waiting, waiting and spinning. Today, when the Old One saw the littlest cricket hop off the lily pad, she could see how sad he was. "It's a lovely day," the Old One called out. "And lovely days are too short to wear long faces. What's wrong, my friend?" "I am ugly," said the littlest cricket. "Whoever told you that?" asked the spider. "The frog who lives at the edge of the pond. I am the ugliest thing that ever lived. Oh, how I wish I were a butterfly." The Old One began to laugh. "Butterflies are pretty enough to look at," she said, "but they are no more special than you." "Not special?" cried the littlest cricket. "They are the most beautiful creatures in Swamp Swallow Pond, and maybe in all the world." "I wish I were as special as that." The Old One said nothing, but continued to laugh. "I thought you would understand," the cricket said. "You don't envy the butterfly because you're so beautiful yourself." The spider stopped laughing at once. "You think that I am beautiful?" she asked. The cricket nodded. "But I've been told that I'm the ugliest creature in Swamp Swallow Pond, maybe in all the world." The cricket looked surprised. "Did the frog who lives at the edge of the pond tell you that?" "Not only the frog," said the Old One. "Why, if I were to believe what everyone says about me, I would think myself quite ugly. But I don't believe everyone, you see. And I certainly don't believe that grumpy old frog who lives at the edge of the pond. I believe you, because you are my friend. You think I'm beautiful, and so I am." "You are beautiful," the littlest cricket said. "But I am as ugly as can be. I still wish I were a butterfly." The Old One asked the littlest cricket to follow her to the water's edge. "Look," she said, "what do you see?" "A beautiful you and an ugly me," replied the cricket. "What do you see?" "Two beautiful friends." The cricket gazed at himself for a long time. "Am I really beautiful?" he asked at last. "To me you are," the Old One said. "More beautiful than any butterfly I've ever seen." The littlest cricket looked back at his reflection, and to his surprise, his ugliness began to fade away. Suddenly, a gust of wind rippled the water. "Look," said the cricket, turning around. "Your web! The wind has blown away your web." "Ah, well," the spider said, "then I must begin again. Wait and spin, spin and wait. It's a spider's life. But it would make the time pass more quickly if I had some music to work to." As the Old One began to spin a new web, the littlest cricket began to fiddle. And a butterfly, flying past, heard the sound and said, "What beautiful music that creature makes. I wish I were a cricket."
Oh my gosh, I say, wow, that was an amazing story.
Yeah.
Gosh, Katie, what'd you like about that, or what was that? What was going on there?
Well, it was kind of crazy how the cricket at first was like, "I'm so ugly." That was really sad because the cricket obviously was not ugly. But then, he went to the ladybug and the glowworm and the dragonfly, and they were all so pretty, and the cricket kept saying, "I just want to be like a butterfly." And so I feel like sometimes I do that too, how I would want to be like somebody else.
You know what I thought was interesting in the story is when the cricket went, the cricket would go to a couple of its friends to kind of work through these feelings, right? And the cricket ends up talking to the spider, right? And then the spider is saying, well, you're not ugly, you're beautiful. And then the cricket's telling the spider's beautiful, and the spider's like, I'm not beautiful. And then the spider then says, well, yeah, that old frog at the end of the road told me the same thing too. And they were able to have this truth encounter. And then, of course, the best part of this was the spider says, hey, buddy, would you be willing to play me some music? And the cricket, of course, what? Starts to play. Oh, yeah. And then what happened?
Then a butterfly flies through and looks at the cricket and is like, I wish I was a cricket.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
It was so crazy.
It's a powerful story, guys. And we have this deal where we feel like we would just be better if we were someone else, or taller or thinner or faster or richer, or hair was a different color, or we all do this. And then we have sometimes these annoying voices, and sometimes even people who speak lies to us, right? And we need to surround ourselves with people that speak to us truthfully, but more than that, we need to be reminded of who we are in God. And Katie, what's so interesting is there's this, I'm going to put a word on it, it's called self-hatred, where we actually don't like ourselves. And what I find so interesting about it, Katie, I mean, I know you've been in church circles most of your life, but there's the greatest commandment in the Bible is what? If you were to just take a guess.
Obey.
Okay, who do you think we would obey?
God.
Okay, so yeah, that verse, we're told, it says, hey, love the Lord your God. And later it's, we talk about, well, what's the best way to love God? It's by obeying him. There's a demonstration. We don't just use our words. So you're right. So we want to love God with all of our heart, all of our soul, all of our mind. And then there's a second commandment that's great. Do you know what that one is?
Is it love your neighbor like you love yourself?
Okay, say that again, because that is correct.
Love your neighbor as you would love yourself.
Okay, say just the second half of that verse.
Love yourself.
Love yourself. It is so crazy to think about that we're supposed to love God, right? And then love people. Like if we were just to boil it down, he says, love God, love people. But then the Lord put this little tagline in there. He says, hey, love them like you love yourself. Now, you want to be careful. We're not talking self-love, like where you put yourself before everybody. You're like, well, they're hungry, but I'm more hungry, so I'm not going to share any of my food. I'm not talking that. We're talking about a self-love in a healthy way, because God knew that until we learn to love ourselves and accept ourselves for who we are and how he created us, it's going to be very difficult for us to love other people in a powerful way. Does that make sense, Katie?
Yes.
Well, Katie, I want to say I think you're beautiful inside and out, and I'm super blessed that you were here today. Kids, we're super blessed you were here today. We love you. You're amazing. You were created for greatness, and here's to a great week filled with great choices. We'll see you next time. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.